away.
Set feet. Bang!
What game is this? This is incredible. Hook. Delightful. Wow. Too strong.
Now Melbourne goes, and Melbourne gets the bucket. Circus basketball to Roof.
Cole. Yes!
When you ask for early round matchups, they don't get much better than this. It's first versus second. It's the two final undefeated teams in the Signet WNBL. We've got superstars up against their old teams. It is the Townsville Fire hosting the Bendigo Spirit at Townsville Entertainment Centre. My name is Matt Hickey. I'm joined by the Country Victoria High Performance Coach Zoe Carr. Zoe, pleasure to be on the broadcast with you. And this is a fantastic game we've got on our hands.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here after a thrilling overtime game that we just witnessed between Geelong and Adelaide. So now we've got the two undefeated teams to step up and see what they can do. And will this game go into overtime itself?
There's so many storylines at play. There's no doubt about that. Townsville 2-0, Bendigo 4-0. Of course, Bendigo also played on Wednesday night, so they're playing on the road in the second game of a doubleheader weekend for them. They won that game in convincing fashion over the Sydney Flames 90-71, and Bendigo, well, they look like the championship favourites of them.
Definitely, they are rolling, and I've said it, I don't know, a million times it feels like. They've still got Kelsey Griffin to bring back into this lineup. It's so exciting to watch this Bendigo team. But the Townsville Fire have had 10 days to prepare for this game, so Coach Seabomb's teams are generally very well prepared and very good at executing their scout, so that amount of time is going to really make this an exciting matchup.
It is remarkable when you mention Kelsey Griffin, and we can have a look. They did win that game against the Flames 90-71 in that fiction. Of course, that one that you mentioned, Zoe, earlier tonight where Geelong got their second win in franchise history, but you mentioned Kelsey Griffin. They're bringing back just casually somebody who's won 4 championships, 3 grand final MVPs, a 2019 MVP, and a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So pretty impressive for the Bendigo Spirit. But the hosts tonight are the Townsville Fire. And without Lauren Mansfield, it's going to make things a little bit difficult.
Definitely. It's going to be really tough for them to be able to stem the scoring power of Bendigo's guard rotation of obviously Whitcomb, Wilson and Burton. But as we've mentioned, they will be prepared for what they need to do from their scout, but they need to ensure that defense is their key and they don't allow the Spirit to go on massive scoring runs.
And we can see Lauren Mansfield there, not in playing uniform. First home game here for the Fire. And talk about star players. Alicia Froling, we just witnessed her sister carry Geelong over the line. Can she do the same tonight? She's having a great start to the year.
She is, and she has just come along every single season. And now she's back home in Townsville. You know, she's around friends, she's around family. So I'm really excited to see what she can do with this group. She's got a big job up against Tolo tonight, but she's got the will and the drive to be able to really take it to Tolo as well and help carry this Townsville team.
What a matchup it's going to be. And of course, Alicia Froling played with the Spirit last year, and we look now to the Bendigo Spirit. As mentioned, 4-0. They're first on the ladder, averaging 92 points per game. No team has scored 80 plus against them. Everything's going right for Bendigo at the moment.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, obviously their game plan is great. The way they can score the ball, the way they're defending is great. But I think the thing I like the most about the Spirit this season is their cohesion. Everybody is on the same page. Everybody is willing to give up for each other. There's no real thought of, I need to get mine. Everybody's making great basketball plays, and it's showing in the amount of points they're putting on the board.
And it's impossible for us to talk about the start Bendigo has had without talking about who I think is probably mine and everybody else's favourite player to watch in the WNBL, Sammy Whitcomb. What a superstar.
Oh, and we've known this for such a long time, but to step into this team and just take over the way she has, and you know, when they need a score, they get it, or she finds the open player. She has just been outstanding. So she is obviously going to be a big target for the Townsville Fire. They have to try and control her. You're not going to stop her, but you have to at least try and make it difficult and control her. The harder the shots are, the more likely you are to be successful.
And she, of course, played for the Fire last year on the flip side to Froling. So back in Townsville for the first time. She only shot 29% from deep last year. She's shooting over 50% from deep this year. We are underway. It's Bendigo in the blue, Townsville in the orange, and it is the visitors who will get the first look. And this crowd, a bumper crowd, they always turn up in Townsville, and they're on their feet ready to get behind their team. Burton with a step-back three, taking what the defense gave her, but to no avail. We get our first look at this offense without Lauren Mansfield. So the floor general not out there on the floor. Courtney Woods, what a start to the season she's having. What a player. And here is the Froling-Tolo matchup that we wanted. And Tolo wins first points.
And that's just going to be a battle for the entire game. It's going to be so great to see, but I'm loving the way Bendigo are playing off the on-ball that you just saw there. Flipping the on-ball, keeping the defense guessing. They haven't been able to capitalise on it yet, but it will come.
So the Fire looking to draw first blood in this one. Ball through hands. Eventually is going to find its way down to Cox. Looks to fall away and spin and sent it a little long. And the shot clock is going to beat them, so a good defensive set. That won't count from Cook. Interesting that Tolo isn't guarding Cox. That's always an interesting matchup because it would seem, at least on paper, that they match up a little bit better than potentially Froling, which we're seeing on this end of the floor defensively for Townsville.
Yeah, I think size-wise the matchup's there, but I think as we just see Casey Samuels do what she's done all season, and sorry, was that
Sammy Wickham?
Yeah,
it's Wickham's
Sammy
world.
Wickham. I'm sorry, my apologies. Sammy Wickham knocked down another three, and I'm sure one of many. But I think Froling has the bigger impact on the game, so they're looking to try and stem that.
And on cue, there is that big impact. She gets Townsville on the board for two right there. So both teams now on the board and ready just to settle into this game. There is Callie Wilson. What a player. Of course, I'm on all-time assist record watch. She's sitting on 1,592. She's 25 behind Kristen Veal at the moment, so that'll come at some point this season.
Wow.
Just to go along with the game's record as well, because why not? Just rack them up.
Yeah.
Woods with a really tough take, stayed with it, did a great job to even get that up over Tolo, but no dice. And Sammy Wickham just dancing, so light on her feet, probably could have had the layup, made the extra pass, and there's Casey Samuels. And what a start to the year Casey Samuels is having.
Oh, it's been incredible. The impact that she's had, both offensively and defensively, and just taking her opportunities whenever it comes to her, like that possession we just saw. She's knocking down open shots. The ability to do that is so big for all teams.
She's averaging just under 18 points and 5.5 rebounds per game as Mariana Tolo steps into a deep jumper, doesn't get it to go. Compare that to last year where she averaged under 8 points and 3 rebounds. Now, it comes with the opportunity, but you still have to take the opportunity.
Exactly. You've still got to be able to knock it down when it comes. So, yeah, she's just been fantastic this season. If she can keep it up, it's a massive coup for the Bendigo Spirit.
And Woods just took one extra step. Courtney Woods, mentioned her great start to the year, 18 points per game, over 50% from the field. I thought last season it was a little bit quiet. She had a 50-49 a year. Why are we still not talking about it? That's incredible.
She's very much an underrated player of the league, and I think it's only just now she's starting to get the recognition that she deserves. So, yeah, she's wonderfully effective, particularly off the bounce, but can knock down the open shot. And then defensively, she's a bit of a menace. So, yeah, she's going to have a great season.
So Sammy Wickham heading to the line for a pair. It's Bendigo who have the early lead, 6-2 at the moment. And Sammy Wickham, we mentioned her in the pre-game, but what a start to the season. 25.8 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2.5 steals, 50% from three. She's averaging just under 5 makes from three per game. Just remarkable, and is the MVP favourite early in the season by the length of the Flemington Straight, I think. And good pressure defensively from Samuels there, just forced the turnover. They're looking to get it to Lauren Cox.
But you also saw the impact of Mariana Tolo there just off split line, coming across and just making that pass, changing the angle of the pass, which made it almost, well, impossible to catch. To come off split line is just invaluable.
And there she is on the other end of the floor. The little head fake was enough to get Cox off balance, and Marina Tolo will head to the free throw line for a pair.
It's one of the great things I love about the Spirit. They're okay in just running the pick and roll between Whitcomb and Tolo all game. And then it works. So keep going to the well. Like it is you help off of Tolo and you get a little up fake and she puts it to the floor and gets to the line. You stay with Tolo and Whitcomb then gets off the chain. So yeah, you got to pick your poison a little bit. But I love the way they just continue to go with what works.
Pretty handy plan A, B and C and maybe even D to have when you've got the two-player game between them. Whitcomb also just so great at trapping her defender in jail, isn't she? As soon
Absolutely.
as it's on the hip or behind, it's good luck on Whitcomb Island. Back the other way to fire, and that's a really good make there from Alice, and that'll do her confidence a world of good into the starting lineup.
Absolutely, and that's something she can definitely bring to this Townsville lineup. She's from her early Vic Metro days, she's been an amazing shooter, particularly off the bounce. So she can bring that more often for the Fire. It'll be massive for keeping them in touch.
She had a good campaign in the NBL 1 South with Diamond Valley, just under 20 points per game. As we see Sammy Whitcomb again just causing some havoc, and it'll eventually result in free throws to come for Veronica Burton, who is a name through the start of the season we actually haven't spoken that much about because of the other performances from Bendigo. But this is a player who was a 3-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Talk about a handy resume.
Definitely. And just last week in round 2, she got to the line 13 times. She went 11 of 13. So she is, it may not be as in your face her contribution to the group, but it is massive what she does because, again, if you close out just that little bit too long, she's putting the ball to the floor and she's getting to the line.
Had to get the ball up there quickly, Townsville, because they had about 2 seconds to get it over the timeline, and they draw a foul there. And that was Kelly Wilson in her 22nd season just picking up full court, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Never ceases to amaze.
I'm Team Kelly all the way. I want her to play forever.
I might get to 500 games at this rate. I'll tick over 450. Here's Cook. Likes the look of this matchup. That is a tough fall-away jumper and got it to go. Zaya Cook with a brilliant finish.
Not much more defense could have done there. That is an incredible finish to be able to elevate and fade away and still get the touch on that shot.
It was picked 10 in the 2023 WNBA draft, and Sammy Whitcomb once again drawing another foul. So the early lead here for the Spirit. Halfway through the opening quarter, they're up 12-7 with possession, of course. Both teams undefeated in a first versus second battle in front of a bumper crowd at the Townsville Entertainment Centre. Single digits on the shot clock. It's Tolo, it's Whitcomb again. Puts her defender in jail, but a big play from Lauren Cox.
Huge block. And really big in the grand scheme of things too. Anytime you can send Whitcomb away from the basket and have her maybe get into a point where she's second guessing, it really helps you in terms of trying to defend her.
Got to get something up. It's Whitcomb. You just almost think it's going to go in automatically, but it rims out. Lauren Cox was a Big 12 Player of the Year, a 2-time Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, so she certainly has those capabilities. Cook, that was an awkward fall, just slipped. Burton quickly back the other way. 1-on-1 v Alice. Hands were straight up. Burton too strong. Spirit lead by 7. Saffron Shields into the game early for Townsville. Good to see her getting some minutes. It's all part of covering for the missing Lauren Mansfield.
Yeah, and Courtney Woods has 2 fouls now, so they're going to have to be careful in managing her, just at least before halftime.
As Cook steps into a triple and she looks ready to play. Has 5 points early in this one, half of Townsville's points. Samuels went against the feed, gave it to Whitcomb. Normally not a bad idea. Wilson, great extra pass. Burton, corner 3, and that is basketball at its finest.
It is the purest form. give up a good shot for a great shot. Great work by Bendigo Spirit.
We have a timeout on the floor. Townsville want to talk things over. Shannon Seabohm wants to talk to his troops because at the moment they trail 10-17. Bendigo, they're just so hard to stop.
They are. You take away something and something else comes up. So you've just got to figure out what you're willing to live with, what shot you're willing to give up. But the Spirit have been great at knocking them down. So Coach Seabohm will be in there making some adjustments now, as well as looking to find ways to get easier scores for them at the offensive end.
And this timeout is brought to you by Signet. Stay powered with Signet, Australia's favourite power bank brand. Keep your devices charged and never miss a moment. Visit signet.com to find your perfect power bank. That is Signet, CYGNETT.com to find your perfect power bank. Great partners of the WNBL. 4 minutes to play in the first quarter, and Bendigo have picked up right from where they have left off. As I said at the top, 92 points per game. No team scored 80 plus against them. And after this game, 4 out of the next 5 are at home.
Yeah.
So they could, if they can walk away winners here, they could very easily be 9-1 or 10-0.
Yeah.
Which is an unbelievable start considering the last 2 years they've finished 11-10. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
We
Well,
are.
I'm getting ahead of myself because we've still got 4 minutes to play in the first quarter, and Townsville undefeated as well. And Zaya Cook, she looks ready to play in this one, ready to pick up the slack for the Fire. Here is Cox, and she's going to draw the foul. Points will not count. It's a trip to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And great to see Abby Warung back on the floor as well. She's been out for the last couple of weeks, and elite defender, so it'll be great to see what she can bring. But you can just see there Tolo just put the hands on as Cox faced up to the basket, so needs to try and keep her hands out and take a little bit of a chest blow there. But a clear directive from Coach Seabohm to try and attack Tolo off the bounce, off that short corner.
It'll be huge for Townsville if they can get her into foul trouble. Just the one foul at the moment. Just the ball movement, player movement, always fantastic for Bendigo. Sammy Wickham, pretty reliable person to have it in the hands of when you're looking for a basket.
She's just incredible to be able to pull up on a dime like that and elevate over the top. That's just elite level basketball.
She's up to 7 already in this one. Cox, the pivot, did the work, then went to the fall away. And Lauren Cox says, I'll have every bit of that. Thank you, Mariana Tolo.
Yeah, and I love the way she's not shying away from Tolo. She is taking it upon herself to go at Tolo and either try and draw a foul or score the ball herself.
And once again, it's Casey Samuels for 3, lead out to 10. Townsville need a lockdown.
Yeah, they're starting to find their feet offensively, starting to get some high quality, high percentage shots. Now they've got to try and lock down at the defensive end so they can reward themselves like we've just seen from Alicia.
Abby Ellis, a really great start to this game in for Lauren Mansfield, who is not playing tonight. She hit the 3 earlier and just kept going. Nobody picked her up. Took it right into the heart of the paint. Scored the 2 hoop plus the harm. She'll go to the line for 1 more.
It'll be interesting to see what Townsville do defensively off this foul shot here, whether they go into some type of structured defense like a press or something like that just to try and disrupt the Spirit a little bit. The danger is you lose sight of a Wickham or a Samuels or a Wilson. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they look to go a little bit disruptive here.
We saw Chris Lucas do a lot with Geelong in the earlier game tonight, and it was a decision that helped them get over the line. They created a bit of havoc, and they walked away with a W despite being down double digits at one point. Here is Wickham. Got herself into trouble, got out of it, got it back. Up fake was brilliant. Goes to the reverse layup. Sammy Wickham, you superstar.
And one of the great things about that was the way she used the basket to protect her shot. So instead of coming up same side where Cox would have sent that out again, she's gone onto the other side of the rim to protect it and been able to finish.
Such a smart player. Cox likes the look of this matchup. It is a tough matchup for Nightingale, and Cox having a great start to this game.
She is, and that's outstanding footwork from the post too, to be able to spin off that and get the finish, the light touch.
Samuels, I thought that one was going to roll around and in, but she'll head to the line for a pair of free throws. And back to Sammy Wickham, I feel like people maybe mention, she just ends up getting open. I don't think that's giving the credit that she deserves. No. She moves off the ball so much. It reminds me a little bit of Steph Curry in terms of the way he moves off the ball. She's constantly in motion.
Yeah, and I think sometimes where we get caught is because the way she moves looks easier than what it is, then we think it's easy, when really she is working so hard, and she's not just working hard here. When she's in practice, she's working at an elite level. So she is, coming off screens at a rapid rate from slow to fast, and that's how she's getting herself open. Her change of pace is what sets her apart.
Samuels missed both free throws there, which you could probably tell from the excitement of the crowd. They were pretty pumped up. So the lead just stays at 7, and there's going to be hands foul just on the ball there. Nia Locke into the game. Alex Fowler as well. So going to the bench early here, Townsville. Just see maybe a little touch too eager there from Abby Wera. Of course, the NBL wants out Defensive Player of the Year this year in the NBL 1. Great take. Finish with the left hand and one, Saffron Shields.
And that is, even though she's so young, vintage Saffron Shields. That ability to just hesitate, go stop on a dime a little bit, lift the defender, and then accelerate out and finish high and soft off the glass. That is her game and what she does really well. So the Spirit are going to have to make sure they clean up their on-ball screen defense, because if you allow Saffron Shields that amount of space, she is going to make you pay.
Just 18 years of age, but good patience on offense there. And this game back to 4, so they're just working their way back into this one here, Townsville. Great kick from Wickham over to the wing, not quite. And Cox, what an impact she's having. I don't think Fowler was ready for it. She ended up with it anyway. And here is Shields. Just plays at a nice tempo. Never rushed. Cook has been active early. Harlem Globetrotter stuff there. Fell over, got back up, goes to the fall-away jumper at rim down. Inside the final minute here of the first quarter, and Kelly Wilson, the floor general, says, let's just take a breath. Let's run a set. It's the Horns action and finds its way to Samuels with the left, and she gets it to rolling. About a 9-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Shields guarded by Wickham, who's so active on defense as well, comes away with so many takeaways. Shields creates space, goes to step through, always a tough look. Wickham ends up with it, because of course she does. And Bendigo can hold for one as we reach the back end of the last quarter. Single digits on the clock. Wickham, fall away, jump shot. It's Sammy Wickham's world. We're all just living in it. Unbelievable performance in the first quarter from the superstar. She's up to 11 points already, and the Bendigo Spirit, looking to go to 5-0, lead 28-20 after the first quarter in Townsville.
your magic, go around the hoop and shoot the ball. Here he goes. Get behind him. Come on. There he goes. Oh. All right, Winston, you'll go. Come on, make some noise for him. Here's Winston.
Hello and welcome back to Townsville Entertainment Centre, where Sammy Wickham has just carried on her merry way. So they've made 9 field goals as a team. Wickham's had 4 of them and assisted on another 4. There's only one basket she hasn't had a part of. It's ridiculous.
It is, but it's also not, because this is what she does. You know, she is an elite scoring guard. So if you take it away from her, she, like we mentioned earlier, she'll make the right basketball play and find the open player. So, yeah, I think both teams coming into this quarter need to really lock in on their on-ball screen defense. They're getting picked apart by any guard that's coming off. So that whether they go into a trap or switch or something aggressive, to be able to make sure that there is somebody on the point guard or the ball handler at all times.
They're just about ready to start the second quarter. They did a good job of getting themselves back into the game, Townsville, didn't they?
Definitely, and they stayed calm. It could have got a bit out of control. It looked like at one point Bendigo were about to go on a run, but they just locked down defensively and then went to their strengths offensively to be able to, you know, go into Cox in the paint, and she went to work, and then that started to open up other players.
Just a little delay at the moment as we get things ready. Always love when there's a bit of a banter and friendly chat between the players and the officials, isn't it? It can get tense at times.
It can.
Always nice when it's just a friendly discussion. Have a look at those New Balances for Kelly Wilson. They look almost brand new. And the ankle braces as well. That's what happens when you're a professional player. My ankle braces look a lot mankier than
No, she'll definitely look after them.
Look at that. I like the kicks as well.
Yeah.
New Balance is making a comeback, which I appreciate. And a reminder, you get all your incredible footwear at Foot Locker, great partners of the WNBL. I've been trying to push for maybe some of the commentary team to
just a little bit of apparel for the commentary team.
Maybe just a pair of kicks or something. I think the production staff are pretty keen on it as well, just quietly, as I normally get that one in my ear, just to make sure that they're included in the any potential freebies. So Foot Locker, if you are listening, I'm a size 11, US 11. Anyway, back to the basketball. We're just, again, it's a little delay. Officials just chatting, and always interesting as a player, when you get ready, you're ready to go, pump yourself up, and then you just go stand.
Yeah, and it does sometimes take a little bit of a toll. Coming out of a quarter time, probably less likely, but you know, it can take that toll if it's broken some momentum, or you do have a little bit of nerves or something going. It can really exacerbate it a little bit, but these women, they're pros, so they'll be able to just pick this up no problem.
You'd be frustrated if you're a coach and you gave a big G up and maybe a bit of a spray at quarter time, and you can go out and they all just take the time. So Lauren Cox, she'll head to the free throw line for a pair of free throws. 4 points, 3 rebounds in the first quarter for her. She was really good. Abby Ellis, 6 points in that starting role, and looking to take full advantage. Yeah,
and again, a pointed set play to get the ball inside to get a high percentage shot. So this is, again, it's a staple of Shannon Seaborn coach teams, is that they are well drilled and they execute. You need to be able to push them out of their execution and force them into free play. They're still good enough to hurt you on that, but if you allow them to execute like that, they will tick the scoreboard over.
Of course, the reigning coach of the year, Shannon Seaborn, he's won that award multiple times. He was an assistant in Paris for the Opals, of course, taking home a bronze medal. A lot of contact there, I think, from both players. I'm not quite sure which way the foul's going to go. It will go on the defense, as it tends to do, and Bendigo will keep possession. And have a look at the replay here. Foul was up and in, and Samuel's just giving as good as she got.
I think a bit of contact to the face might have been where the call came from.
So Froling back in the game. Just the 2 points, only the 2 shot attempts for her in the first 6 minutes she had on court.
Yeah, I'd like to see her be more aggressive, like what Cox has done. If Tolo's in the game, take her off the block or into the high post and try and take her off the bounce. If not, really seal inside and look to go to work.
She looked her best when she was rolling hard off those high picks and getting open looks, as Townsville a little bit eager out of the turnover to try and push the ball, and maybe got lucky that they're going to keep it here. That pass was down at Locke's feet. It was going to be impressive if she managed to pick that up. And a great move again. Abby Ellis, what a start to this game. To 8 points now, 100% from the field, 100% from the free throw line. And now up and in on Veronica Burton. Samuels keeps it, lets it fly. She's playing with such confidence at the moment. Just under 18 points per game, 40% from deep entering this one. Courtney Woods with those 2 fouls, still sitting on the bench. Cox, it was a great look, a great set. Just couldn't put the finishing touches.
Again, it's that on-ball screen coverage. They need to tighten that up. Both teams need to tighten that up. Otherwise, they got out of jail with that one there and that missed layup. They're not going to get too many of those.
As Sammy Wickham once again earns herself a trip to the line, and playing defense behind Sammy Wickham is, I mean, you never want to play defense behind anyone, but Sammy Wickham always seems to make you foul her. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, it's pretty hard to play defense in front of her too, but she's really good at, you know, what we call like putting the defender in jail. So getting in front of them and then just sort of sitting back on them and making it impossible for them to come and impact the ball.
My defensive strategy would be to ask for a sub.
Yeah.
Send somebody else in, coach. So the Spirit just maintain this early advantage, just at arm's distance, but Townsville looking good, just maybe have missed some good opportunities. Great ball movement, great pass, big to big, and Froling with the finish.
And great job getting Froling back involved in the game as well, getting that little back screen for her to get her on the rim and a high percentage shot for her. So hopefully that can be the start of her to start rolling into this game offensively.
Single digits on the shot clock here for Bendigo. Burton. Extra kick. Wickham was waiting, somehow caught that. One more to Samuels. Has to hoist it up. Couldn't hoist it in. Burton probably didn't need to tap it. I think she thought there was a little bit more pressure and ends up falling the way of Townsville, who will now once again get into their offense. They're so disciplined at doing this, aren't they? They take it out if there's nothing there, bring the ball back and look to work. Push past to Cox, swing through. Again, couldn't finish what was a good build-up. Shot clock does reset, so they'll get another opportunity. Abby Ellis. Her perfect night continues. Abby Ellis, unstoppable at the moment. She's up to 11 points. The only person who's got more than her, and that is a big hit, is Sammy Wickham with 13. That's going to be a foul on Nia Locke, and she got her money's worth there.
She certainly did, but Samuels is obviously pretty tough. It'll take a little bit to take her off of this game, but yeah, I think you can almost feel that this game is about to go to another level. You know, they're both teams, there's a little bit of juice now in this game, so should be great to watch.
And they've done a great job here, Townsville, bringing this game right back. It threatened to get outside double digits, but they're back in it, back to a three-point game. We've got a timeout on the floor, and this timeout is brought to you by the WNBL app. Make sure you're following all the live stats of today's game with the free WNBL app. You can also check out game highlights, team and player info, and more. Download it from the App Store today. Go check out the WNBL app. You can get all the stats. Go see who's putting the points up on the board, who's getting the stops, all of the good stuff from the WNBL. So we played 3 minutes here of this second quarter, and so what do you think the message would be from Coach Kennedy Kiriyama, where, I mean, they still have the lead, but the momentum may be shifting slightly, and defensively they just have to tighten things up.
Yeah, so I think they've got to impact the ball more defensively. Townsville are allowed to play too free and too easy with the ball. So they're not only getting scores for themselves, but they're able to find other players. So they need to impact that as best they can. And then offensively, get back to getting the ball inside. Tolo's come back into the game now. Try and get the ball either inside through pass or penetration. And then look to play out of that. That's where Bendigo play their best basketball, when they get the ball inside somehow and then it comes out and they have their extra passes.
It was a great penetration and a good execution, and 2 points there for the Bendigo Spirit. Abby Werung scores the basket.
And just Bendigo going to a 2-3 zone, I'd suspect, to just protect Tolo a little bit on the 2 fouls.
And Woods back out on the floor for Townsville with 2 as well. And Abby Ellis finally misses. She is human after all. Gets the tip out though to Cook. Running jumper, tough basket, gets it to go. Cook having a good night as well. It's a good shout, Zoe Worth, keeping an eye on both Tolo and Woods, playing with 2 fouls each, and there's still 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. So if they pick up a third, they'll both be out of the game pretty quick, you'd think. Here is Mariana Tolo. Great find. How smart was that? She knew where Werung was before she even got the rebound.
Yeah, it was a great find, but also it came from executed offense, predictable shot, so you're able to rebound it and then find your open players. Again, getting back to Bendigo basketball.
You talked about them trying to maybe limit the execution or at least change it. Well, they're into a 2-3 zone. It doesn't matter, though, for Lauren Cox, who goes into the spin cycle and scores 2.
That is so tough to defend with her size, being able to spin so quickly and fade away. It is just impeccable basketball.
We've been treated so far through the first quarter and a half. Burton catch and shoot. And somebody might have left the back door open there. That one way off. Woods had a tough night at the office and just loses the handle on that one. It's going to be a jump ball and it'll go to Bendigo as Cox gets a well-earned break. She's up to 6 points to go with 4 rebounds and an assist.
The great thing about Cox's points, though, is they've come at times that they've really needed them. You know, they've gone empty on a few possessions, so, you know, offense is starting to dry up, and she's been the one that's taken it on herself to make sure she's ticking that scoreboard over. So whilst it doesn't sound like a massive amount of points, they have been at crucial times.
Just perfect for a coach as Werung lines up a triple. Don't go under the screen. But so great for a coach just to have a reliable option. Okay, let's run X, Y, Z, whatever it might be, and we go to our reliable scorer back to the basket, and he's going to get a really high percentage look.
Definitely. So especially against a zone, you want to try and get the ball inside if you can.
Woods, great find. Cook. They've been shooting the lights out, and Fowler with the follow, draws the foul, and she'll go to the line for 1 extra.
And it is one of the dangers when you're in a zone. Boxing out is so difficult because you don't have a set player that you are on. So because you're guarding more so space than you are a player, finding them as the ball goes up, you've got to just find the closest player, and that's where, you know, offensive rebounds are on the table.
Just so well drilled. You cannot lapse against Townsville. They will make you pay. Opal Bird into the game, is committed to Wake Forest, so congratulations to her. It's exciting news, a great program. Kelly Wilson makes the right call time and time again, goes to Mariana Tolo, but a great defensive play from Alicia Froling. Much easier said than done, stopping Mariana Tolo on a low catch like that. And we can have a look at the replay. That was a deep catch, and they're managing to get the stops, a big win.
It was. The wingspan on the Frolings is just insane to be able to get a hand on that.
Wickham, good find. Tolo missed one she'd normally make. And those 2 early fouls, maybe just throwing her out of rhythm a little bit as she looks to find it in this game. And Courtney Wood's an uncharacteristic turnover. Crowd trying to get involved. Sammy Wickham back out on the floor with those 13 points and 4 assists. Burton, one extra one. Bird, ball movement good, scramble defense better. And Froling thought she had the block, but the foul is called. She cannot believe it.
I'd need to see the replay to see if she made contact, but again, feet, ball inside, came out, reversed the ball, and then attacked again. That's what we spoke about before that Bendigo needed to get back to. So they've done an outstanding job of that. And now the Fire need to just make sure they're accountable on the ball. They can't allow Bendigo inside the paint because it creates rotations. And if you're in rotations against them, it's pretty hard to stop them. So they need to just make sure they take care of the ball. Again, easier said than done from a commentary position. But try and stay in front of the ball and keep the Spirit out of the paint.
Just quietly, how good are our production staff? I think that was about 0.6 seconds on my clock where you asked for a replay and it came up in no time. That's how good. We're working with the best in the business here. Bendigo back into their 2-3 zone. Early seal was almost there. The hands have been really good from Bendigo. No easy passes. Pressure on. Shot clock winding down. Woods is just going to have to chuck it up. She gets it off in time. Doesn't get the roll. Fowler has ended up with possession on the ground. Was pushed.
That might be Tolo's third.
Have a look. Let's check out the replay. It was an incredible effort to come down with the ball. And I think you might be right because she's walking to the bench now, Mariana Tolo. So good pick up there, Zoe. 3 now for the Star Centre. And that changes things a little bit for Bendigo.
And so if I'm the Fire now, I am pumping the ball inside to Froling and look to try and use her a little bit more and get her involved in the game while Tolo's out.
How quickly do you think they bring Lauren Cox back on in terms of looking now that Tolo's got the 3?
Yeah, they may leave her for a bit just to give her this amount of time and the halftime break to just give her that bigger break. But if she's been out for a little bit of time, they might give her the last maybe 2 minutes and try and go into the halftime break with a lead.
It looks like she has walked up to the bench, so they're eager to do it, and that was great play and a good pass. And Fowler, having some good minutes, is the player who makes the finish. Lead back to 4, and this is, as you said, so a really big 2.5 minutes of this game. Tolo has 3 fouls. Will we see Townsville just crunch into this lead and maybe swing things around? Well, Abby Warong says I'll be having none of that, thank you very much.
And such a great example of playing off 2 feet. It's, if any of my athletes are listening, they've probably curled up in the fetal position because that's all I ever say to them. The ability to play low and off 2 feet, it gives you options. So you saw she went one way and was able to pivot and finish on the other side of her body.
There's great patience as well. Wasn't rushed, and a lot of players, when they get in the paint, a bit excited sometimes and need to rush the basket, but she just waited half a second. And on the other end now, we're going to get free throws for Courtney Woods, who burrowed her way through. As I said, a fantastic free throw shooter. Was a 50-40-90 player, and for those who might not know what that is, that means you're 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 90% from the free throw line at volume, and it is one of the, if you can get anywhere near that, you've had a great season shooting the ball. If you can actually achieve that, it's ridiculous, to be honest, and that's why she averaged 14 points per game, so she's getting enough shots up as well.
Yeah, she's been incredible, and she's just getting better and better each year. So what I think is great is watching her step into a leadership role as a part of this group now. So now they are reliant on her to get those sort of scores.
And interestingly, Shannon Seabom also has taken her out now. 2 minutes to play, doesn't want to pick up the third. Very, very smart coaching. This timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. Calling all sports teams, say goodbye to travel headaches and hello to CTM Sport. CTM are 100% committed to delivering excellence in their field. Leave the logistics to the travel experts so your athletes can focus on what they do best. That just makes sense. Learn more at ctmsport.com.au. That's ctmsport.com.au. So 37-41, Townsville, the home side, working their way back in the game. And this is the thing with Shannon Seabom coach sides. They just never go away.
Yeah, because they are so well drilled and they are clear on their game plan and they all know what the focus is. So even if you feel like you've got a little bit of a lead, they know what they have to do to get it back. So, and we're seeing it here. So The Spirit will need to make sure defensively they lock down here. They don't allow this Fire to just wheel and deal off the on-ball screen. And on the other side, the Fire, you know, the momentum's sort of with them at the moment, so they need to keep running with it. I'd like to see them try and push the ball a little bit more in transition. They're a quick team and a young team, so look to get out and run and try and get some cheap and easy points.
See what Coach Kennedy Kiriyama has drawn up. As Cox takes a tumble. Wickham somehow finds Burton, sets her feet, lets it fly. And Townsville just get let off there. They'll be able to take it back the other way, and you get the feeling they're wanting to go to Cox. Casey Samuels undersized in that matchup. Alice slips. High-low feed comes. Here is Cox. Double team comes from Wickham. Good extra pass. Shields. And Burton called for the foul. So the double came. They made the right play. And it'll be freebies.
And it's what tends to happen off the ball whenever you send a double. You'll see off the ball, everyone kind of just ball watched a little bit, and it allowed that cut to be able to just step into the paint and now go to the line. So they need to be just a little bit more open stance see both. So as that cut comes, they can jump in the lane and get the steal.
It's a great shout, actually. You see that a lot. Double team, everyone ball watches, but it's probably you're told not to always just ball watch, but it's one of the few times that you really don't have to ball watch because there's two defenders on the ball.
Yeah, it's just a habit. Everyone seems to do it. So the quicker you can get out of that habit, the more likely you are to come up with that steal once you've sent the trap to the post. Because that trap, that was the right call. That got there where it needed to, because it needed to disrupt the ball.
Yeah, they had Cox in a tough spot. It was almost under the rim as well, which makes passing out of it a little bit tougher. As we see Sammy Wickham just draw another foul. And into bonus, so free throws to come for Sammy. Just the 2 points make that 3 now in the quarter, so Townsville have done a little bit of a better job maintaining her, but she's still probably going to be on track for another 25-plus point performance. So, as you said at the top, Zoe, you can limit, but you can't stop.
Yes, exactly. And again, it's what you've got to figure out what you're willing to let her have and just be content with that, because you're not going to stop everything. She's too good.
Again, they go the low post feed. Cox, smart to stop, and then drew the foul on the help. And so, no surprise here. Mariana Tolo has the 3 fouls, pound the ball in the paint. And Lauren Cox, that patrons because she has type 1 diabetes. So it's so impressive, isn't it, playing with that and maintaining such a high professional standard while also having to, maintain your insulin levels and all that type of thing. So if you're wondering what the patch on the arm is, that's for the type 1 diabetes. Calmly steps up to the line and makes both. Played a college ball at Baylor. And was picked 3 in the 2020 draft in the WNBA. And that draft is familiar because that was Sabrina Ionescu who went pick 1. So a pretty stacked draft just quietly. Casey Samuels took a tumble in the backcourt, so it's 5-on-4 momentarily. Here is Cox, and again goes to the free throw line, and they are making a real habit of this at the moment.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, Cox is just taking it upon herself to put heat on the rim, what we call heat on the rim, so driving at the rim, post moves at the rim. She's just forcing her way into the paint regardless. And I think, there's just, Casey Samuels was there. She just needed to be in a little bit more of a squared up stance, so to try and take the hit in the chest rather than just that little bit open, which gave her the lane to the rim. Because if you give Cox a lane to the rim at all, she's taking it and she's getting to the line.
And they've dragged themselves right back into this game, just a 1-point ball game. As we are inside now the final 30 seconds of the first half. It's been high-quality basketball. Both teams set for 80-plus points if they keep going at this rate. Single digits on the shot clock. Wilson will look to make the play. Finds Samuels, lets it fly from deep. Did Cox get a hand to it? That's what Bendigo want. The referees say otherwise, and we'll have 12 and a half seconds. And the Townsville Fire just want to talk things over. Good defensive play. Did you think there was maybe a little touch in there? There didn't seem to be too many rotations on the ball.
Yeah, I would assume there was, but obviously tough to tell from here. But obviously Coach Seaborn wants to draw something up for that last possession. Imperative that for the Spirit that they get a stop here, just from a mindset perspective, going in. If they score here, they're obviously going in to half-time down when they've led for the entire half. So, but again, on the other side of that, Townsville, if they can get a score here, the things that does momentum-wise for them coming into the second half is huge.
And the home crowd will be pumping. This time out brought to you by Ford. Ford dealers are all about supporting the game here in Australia, from Ford Aussie Hoops all the way to the WNBL. Ford have been backing Aussie sports and communities for nearly 100 years. Yes, that's 100 years. So when you're ready to hit the court, your local Ford dealer is here to help you get to the game. Let's go with Ford. So 12.4 seconds. You can't advance the ball because it's still in the first half. What are we drawing up here? What's the play? Who's it going to be in the hands of?
Well, I think they're probably going to go to Cox again. Maybe an on-ball screen between Shields and Cox. Look to try and have Shields come off and play a little bit try and get a shot with about sort of 5 seconds to go.
Let's have a look. Shields looked to find Froling and just threw it away. So best intentions from Townsville, and it'll leave 2.4 on the clock here for Bendigo. Ball in the right hands, Kelly Wilson. One to Wickham. Sammy Wickham got it off in time. It looked not terrible out of the hands, but it is slightly off, and that ends a thoroughly entertaining first half here in Townsville. It is the Fire at the moment who trail by just a single point. Bendigo on the road have the advantage, looking to go to 5-0.
I shoot like a girl. I block like a girl.
And the block came from George. Sharp over the top with a denial.
I rebound like a girl.
Hewlett again on the O glass.
Rattles out.
There's Maitland, 2, average 20 points a game.
I move like a girl.
Taylor George fires back.
And that's what makes us great.
Celebrating 50 years of sneakers?
For a delicious dinner that disappears and lets you squeeze in one more episode before bed. Pick up Latina Fresh, Australia's favourite pasta and sauce. Latina, we got the weeknight.
I shoot like a girl.
Jane Hamilton. Late shot on the buzzer is gone. Sammy Whitcomb.
I block like a girl.
And the block came from George. Sharp over the top with a denial.
I rebound like a girl.
Hewlett again on the O glass.
Rattles out.
There's Maitland, 2, average 20 points a game.
I move like a girl.
Taylor George fires back.
And that's what makes us great.
For a delicious dinner that disappears and lets you squeeze in one more episode before bed. Pick up Latina Fresh, Australia's favourite pasta and sauce. Latina, we got the weeknight.
Hello and welcome back to Townsville Entertainment Centre. What a first half we've been treated to in this one. And at the moment, it is Bendigo who lead 43-42 against the Townsville Fire. And just joining us, my name is Matt Hickey. I'm joined by Zoe Carr. And Zoe, I've had a chance to catch our breath. It's been high scoring. It's been fantastic to watch, and it's been a real battle.
Yeah, a real arm wrestle between these two teams, and nobody can really get on top of the other. It seems that whenever there's a little bit of a run, the other just claws it back, and they're working at just such a high rate. So it's been, really exciting to watch. But one of the things I've been really impressed with Townsville is how they've looked after the ball. They've had 6 turnovers for a half, which is definitely on the more acceptable side. But then you look over at Bendigo and they've only had 1.
Remarkable.
And so it's just sort of, the way, the efficiency that both of these teams are playing with when it comes to taking care of the ball has just been fantastic.
Certainly has. It was a quarter in the second that Townsville won 22-15. We looked through some of the individual numbers that you can see up there on your screen. Sammy Wickham, she had 11 in the first quarter. She has 15 points and 4 assists at half time. Abby Warung, been really impressive coming back into the team. Just the 9 minutes, but 11 points, 3 rebounds, and taking full effect and taking the opportunity of Mariana Tolo having 3 personals is Lauren Cox, who has 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 of those points came in that second quarter, and they're just pumping the ball down low.
Yeah, and like you said, taking full advantage of Tolo's size and experience not being inside. And even when she was on the floor, Cox was well interested in trying to take Tolo off the bounce, so stepping her out a little bit and trying to attack, and she did a really good job of that, and it's part of the reason why Tolo's in foul trouble.
Yes, it certainly is. Well, we've been treated to plenty of highlights in the first half, but now's a good time to have a look at the top 5 plays of round 2.
Geelong with possession, Froling out to L30, into the corner for Potter, pulls the trigger, that was huge!
It's been a calm head so far in this one. Almost driving baseline. What a dive! No look handoff to Froling.
From the opening round, Wilson back the other way does everything but drop. Amihi gets a rebound, up, under, spins, this way, that way, hoop plus the harm. What a play.
Looking to make her way into the keyway, just kicking off early. On Bogey, driving, underneath the hoop, and it's there, a great reverse lane.
She makes a move, put a beat, gets it back Froling, and she gets the bucket. Right on the halftime buzzer.
Well, that went as well as you could possibly hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michaela Fox. Well done, Michaela. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? And sticking out putting those names up there. Rachel, Susie, Mia, Michaela. It's a real wall of fame that we're going to bring together with the championship banners. And it strikes you as soon as you walk in.
I don't know who that was getting presented.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, from Michaela Fox. We're going to
Hello and welcome back to the Townsville Entertainment Centre, where we've had an exciting clash through the first 20 minutes of action, and we've got an exciting 20 and, well, and who knows, maybe even more. That's what we had in the last game coming for you here in the second half. And, well, picking up from where she left off, Sammy Wickham, I mean, Zoe, what more can we expect from Sammy? She had a quietish second quarter. She's still on track for 30 points. She's got 15 at the break. It's been another stellar performance.
Yeah, she's just been all over the place. If you try and take away the three, she's putting it to the floor like you're seeing there, finding open players. You know, she's not only scoring the ball herself, she's finding her teammates where she needs to. And the way the different types of finishes that we're just seeing here, she's shooting the three, she's getting to the rim, it's pull-up jumpers, but it's also getting herself to the foul line. She's 100% from the foul line of 6 of 6 so far. So if she can continue to do that, you know, if it does, she's shooting at a good rate, 57%, but if that tends to drop down, which what is normal trend in the second half, then continue to get herself to the line so she continues to rack up those points.
And the assist really crucial as well with those 4 dimes. If she ends up with 6+ dimes and over 20 points all of a sudden, it's another pretty big night at the office. Well, this season, really importantly, the WNBL is taking a stance against domestic violence. Putting a stop to domestic violence is everyone's business. So make an effort to recognise warning signs, listen to survivors, and speak up. For more info, head to Full Stop Australia. That's Full Stop Australia, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right there. A really important initiative that the WNBL is taking up for the entire season. So we're just about ready to get things back underway here at the Townsville Entertainment Centre. Alicia Froling, just the 4 points, only three field goal attempts. Expect to see a little bit more out of her?
I think so, especially with the matchup. If Tolo stays on her, I think there'll be an emphasis to try and go at Tolo and get her to pick up her 4th, because she's such an integral part of this Spirit team. So I think they'll be looking to execute their offense and try and get to Froling in a high percentage position to really try and draw Tolo into a foul.
And the front court depth might be one to watch as we're back underway, because Nightingale also has 3 fouls for Bendigo. So 2 big bodies in foul trouble early, and Tolo's going to pick up her 4th within 14 seconds of the third quarter. It looked like she got a lot of ball. She was ready to run the other way, and instantly they go at Mariana Tolo, and instantly she picks up her 4th personal and will take a slow walk to the bench. That's a big call.
It is. I'm not sure if she got some arm, or it was hard to see from here, but positionally she looked like she was in a good spot and took the hit down the middle. So if there was some contact on the arm, then that's probably where the call has come from.
And she'll probably be a little bit frustrated that she gave the officials the opportunity to make the call. She dropped the hands down. She, as you said, took the hit, had the hands up, but just wanted to have a little play at the ball, and it's cost her. And she will sit probably for the remainder of this quarter. And again, it means Lauren Cox probably becomes the focal point of the Townsville offense. Wilson with the running floater. Couldn't get it to go. Great effort on the rebounds from Nightingale, who, as I mentioned, also playing with 3 fouls. And just quietly, Townsville have taken the lead. Woods, stop and pop 3. Couldn't get it to go. Got her own rebound. That is remarkable. Got it again, and this time gets it to go.
Just wanted the extra stat with the offensive rebound.
Experience, we call that. 3-point lead for the Fire. Wickham, that is such a tough basket. Falling away to her left, flips it up with the right and banks it in.
And an incredible finish from Wickham there. The thing that concerns me a little bit, though, is that Bendigo are going away from their offense and away from their execution and relying on that sort of incredible finish to keep their scoring going. As you can see here, Townsville are executing and they're getting their high percentage looks throughout their offense. So hopefully Townsville can continue that and that the Spirit can bring their offense back into their game.
And the other part of Tolo picking up her 4th foul that we probably haven't mentioned and being in foul trouble is offensive rebounding really starts to become a thing. So all of a sudden, with Froling out there on the floor, with Cox out there on the floor, Woods can fly through and pick up rebounds. Fowler, when she comes on, as a nice basket there for Kelly Wilson. Now you've got to really make sure you're boxing out as well.
Definitely. And look, you know, boxing out is everybody's job, but when you've got Tolo, she solves a lot of problems for you. So when she's out of the game, it becomes even more important.
Go to the block again. Froling, good defense from Nightingale. Just couldn't reel the ball in. Did all the hard work, got the stop, and then just couldn't secure and finish off the possession. I think Alicia Froling might have just copped a little knock to the face. She seems to be okay, but just grabbing at her nose briefly, staying out there on the floor. Maybe a stray arm. And there are the O boards. They're going to get another look. That's about the third or fourth offensive rebound in this quarter, and we've only played 2 minutes. Cook freed up with the jab, and Zaya Cook goes bang. Townsville hot start. There's the hair tucked into the back of the jersey as well. I don't mind that. I haven't seen that before. Wickham, floater, again gets it to go. She is unstoppable. The feeling that she's going to take it upon herself to be the difference, and who could blame her? Up to 19 points in this one. Nightingale, good job staying vertical. Did enough and got the rebound. These are big minutes for a young player, and she's performing well and has drawn the foul. Playing with 3 as well, mind you.
That may be another foul on Woods as well, which could be really big for the Fire.
Courtney Woods does head to the bench. In comes Saffron Shields, so another twist in this tale. .49 apiece. Played 3 minutes here in the third. Wickham, drop-off ball. Nightingale, she gets it to go. What a game Nightingale is having. Big impact on both ends of the floor. That's her first points, her first shot. Spirit with the answers at the moment. Shields, she flips one up. Nightingale again had it, lost it, will stay with Townsville. You can see Sammy Wickham just trying to keep pumping her up, playing big minutes, really important minutes. It was good help defense.
And trying to make sure she stays clean too, because she's obviously in foul trouble as well. So they can't afford to have both Tolo and Nightingale out of the game.
There's the job of guarding Alicia Froling, which is no easy feat.
No.
Single digits on the shot clock. Here is Shields. Turns the corner, goes to the slow-mo Euro, and is called for a travel. So it'll be Bendigo ball. Interesting. I thought she did well enough there without dragging the feet. We'll get a look at the replay. Maybe landed before she got the ball up, so did well, but maybe just a little too slow on the release. Credit the defense. Bendigo lead by 2. Here is Wickham, step back 3. Sammy Wickham one more time. Says have all 3 of those. Timeout on the floor. Sammy the superstar continues on her merry way. She's got 22 points and 5 assists. This is just remarkable.
Yeah, and you see the impact of empty possessions, because she is just way too good. So she comes down the other end, especially when she's in this mode, that she's just going to score it. So you have to make sure, if you're Townsville, you're getting high percentage looks every possession.
Send a triple, quadruple, quintuple team at this point. Send everybody, send the bench. This time out is brought to you by Latina Fresh. For a quick and easy weeknight dinner that the whole family will enjoy, pick up a family pack of Latina Fresh pasta and sauce. Ready in minutes and so delicious, there won't be any complaints at the dinner table. Find Latina Fresh in a chilled pasta aisle near you. And I tell you what, it's lucky it's ready in minutes, because I was hoeing into some Latina Fresh in between the 2 games. And I managed to get the down because it was ready in minutes. We had an overtime game. I was a little bit worried I wasn't going to be able to finish my pasta, but I got the Latina Fresh down. I apologise for you having to watch me eat pre-games. Oh, it's not a pretty sight, but it was necessary. And I tell you what, it was Latina Fresh and it was delicious. So how much of that timeout from Shannon Seabohm is talking about how to guard Sammy Whitcomb?
Most of it, if not all of it. But there would have been a discussion at the end about what they're going to run here to make sure they get a good look. But then the rest would have been about at the defensive end, how they manage Whitcomb and then how they manage once they get the ball out of Whitcomb's hands.
As we see free throws to come here for Cook. With Tolo out, are you just sending a double on any catch and just saying anybody else beat us?
Yeah, I think it's anytime she comes off any sort of on-ball screen or anything like that, I think you've just got to go at her and get the ball out of her hands, and then hopefully in your rotations try and find your way back. Difficult because the Spirit have weapons all over the floor, but it is, again, like you said, force somebody else to step up and try and beat you, because when she's in this mindset, she's really hard to stop.
Offensive rebounds continuing to be a factor. They got another look. They couldn't take advantage there, Townsville. And it's the efficiency for Whitcomb as well. She's got 22 points on only 10 field goal attempts. And that's that getting to the free throw line that you mentioned, 6 of 6 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and the thing is for Townsville, the tough part is that she's a willing assist giver. So if they do send a trap or any type of help coverage, she will find the open player.
As she does right there to Samuels, one dribble into it. Doesn't get it to go. But as we probably thought would happen, came off the pick and the blitz came. It was a quick double. It was a hard show, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then she found the open player. I would have probably preferred to see Samuels just catch and shoot that. That's her bread and butter, and that's what she does really well. But I think that might be Nightingale's 4th foul now. So now the front court becomes really difficult for the Spirit. They're rolling the dice with Tolo, which is, I think, a good call. She's experienced enough. I think she can get herself through the game.
And they're going to go straight at it, I think, or they look to. Now they pull out. Abby Ellis had a great first half. Just second-guessed herself. Got it to Cook for 3. Looked good out of the hands. Sammy Whitcomb swings through. So playing with 4 fouls with 5 minutes to go in the third. Some really big moments for Tolo. And oh my goodness, Lauren Cox just volleyball spiked that into the car park. That was nasty with a capital N, my goodness.
It was, and she loved every minute of it, and so she should. Have a look at it. But, you know, again, it's what comes with, you know, a little bit of momentum shift. You know, they're the things that can turn a game.
Good drop-off pass, this time from Whitcomb, and Tolo with the finish. Abby Ellis is a little shook up behind the play, so we're just going to keep an eye on that. She picks herself up now, but Tolo with the finish. Whitcomb wasn't going to get blocked again, learnt the first time, and great patience from Mariana Tolo. Abby Ellis just going to head to the bench for a moment. It was a bit of a knock she picked up. She's thinking about heading to the bench. And now she walked to the bench. Walked herself there, but there was nobody ready to check in. And that's what you spoke about earlier, Zoe. Whitcomb willing to make the extra pass. So had learnt from just seconds ago getting blocked. Cox came again. This time she was a willing passer, and it pays dividends for the Spirit. They now lead by 7.
And a great learning point from that is she wasn't upset with the fact she got blocked. It didn't really faze her. You saw that in her body language. She just learnt from it and found the open player on the next possession.
And they ended up with 3 points instead of 2 as well.
Yeah.
Shields, that rimmed out. It was a good look. And they've had a bit of that, Townsville. Some great looks, great possessions. Just can't quite put the finishing touches on it. Samuels, no hesitation that time. And she goes bang.
And better on the catch and shoot. Just don't even think about it. Let it fly. So now Townsville are in a little bit of a spot here. They need to execute offensively and make sure they look to go at a high percentage shot here, because Bendigo are rolling, and the last thing you can have is Bendigo on a momentum shift. They become really hard to guard. They go on these runs, as you've seen, it's just blown out to 9 points. So they need to make sure that they execute offensively, look to get back to their on-ball screenplay that they had, that the Spirit had such a hard time guarding earlier, and then try and find Cox inside if you can against Tolo.
Abby Ellis had about 12 seconds on the bench and is straight back onto the court. And the offensive rebounding. Let's have a look at this for the moment. It's not against Mariana Tolo. So Bendigo fans, you can exhale now. So she'll stay out there on the floor. We have a look at the replay. I think it might have come from either Whitcomb or Samuels from behind. So free throws nonetheless for Lauren Cox. 10 points, 6 rebounds, couple of assists in there as well. And also worth noting that Samuel shot from earlier ruled a 2, not a 3. So it's now back to an 8-point margin the way of Bendigo, and they can push it out to double digits with this possession. Cook almost with the takeaway. Whitcomb, extra pass to Samuels, didn't hesitate again. Line drive 3, no good, but they're blitzing hard now on Sammy Whitcomb. Alice, good extra find. And the hard thing now is Tolo has to show a hand to the penetration, but cannot risk too much off the dish to pick up that 5th foul.
Exactly. So that's where going back into that on-ball screen action with Cox, or bringing Tolo into that action, is going to work great, I think, for the Fire.
And that's a foul off the ball. It's going to be on Abby Werung, who was well and truly off it. The action was nowhere near the play there, but gets picked up for the offensive foul. And Bendigo now, it'll be free throws on the next foul for Townsville. Obviously an offensive foul, you're not getting to the charity stripe just yet. Such an intriguing battle this between Abby Alice and Kelly Wilson. Alice with 11 points, 5 rebounds, couple of assists. Kelly Wilson, a bit of a quiet at night by her standards, but will have an impact down the stretch. There's no doubt about that. Here is Cook. Clock winding down. Cook from the car park. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. And she's having a really good night, up to 14 points. There's that pressure from Alice. Whitcomb, foul is called. Thought for a moment there was going to be no whistle and it was just going to be out of bounds on Bendigo. Just grabbing at her back briefly. She seems okay though. We can have a look at the replay. Just a little too eager there, Nylock.
I like the matchup with Locke though, using a bit of length on Whitcomb to try and deter the shot, give yourself an extra step because she can afford to, because she's got the length to still carry a hand. So I do like that matchup. Just a little eager on that one, but I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out.
We were talking earlier in the quarter about Nightingale. We thought she might have picked up her 4th. It was actually her 5th, and she's out of the game. So that's why they had to go back to Mariana Tolo. So Nightingale fouled out. She gave some good minutes, but 5 personal fouls. Mariana Tolo playing with 4, and Courtney Woods also playing, I think, with 3 at the moment. So all things to keep an eye on. Cook. Nice shovel pass. Points are good from Fowler, but it was all Cook who was once again delivering with precision.
And a great finish too. There was a lot of contact in that. So to be able to keep your eyes on the target and finish, take the hit, and now get yourself to the line for a 3-point play, fantastic.
And just when it was looking like it was going to go out to double digits once again, Townsville, like you said, Zoe, they just don't go away.
They do. Again, they know how to execute and get themselves back into games.
So the Signet WNBL season launch kicked off a few weeks ago at Foot Locker's Reimagined store in Melbourne Central. Celebrate the hoop season by grabbing the latest kicks and apparel at your nearby Foot Locker, the official major partner of the WNBL. And I mentioned in the last game, people, Christmas creeps up on you. It comes at you real fast, especially around this time of year. There's so much WNBL action. There's social gatherings, there's work parties, there's everything. So get your Christmas presents sorted early. Head down to Foot Locker. Grab yourself, I like the attitude of a gift for somebody, a gift for yourself. So a pair of shoes for somebody, a pair of shoes for yourself. I think that's a nice way to do it. You've got to treat yourself sometimes. Get down to Foot Locker. Really intriguing 2 minutes and 10 seconds coming up here in this third quarter. It seems as though Bendigo have had control of this game, but Townsville are just right there. Is the dam going to break where Townsville maybe just build out a little lead of their own, or are we just going to be consistently in this yo-yo motion?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be an arm wrestle right to the very end, which is great for us as a viewer. Not great for them as players. I think they'd love to be able to break it out a little bit, but I feel like we're watching almost the exact carbon copy of the second quarter, where it was sort of at round about this time where Townsville actually got a little bit of a lead. So, you know, we've spoken about it offensively. Townsville have to just continue to execute and do what they do well, but Bendigo have to make sure that they finish possessions right now. Townsville are on a tear. They've got momentum. They're energized. Everything's going their way. So you can see that they're crashing the boards hard. They're looking to try and generate extra possessions. So Bendigo have to limit that to one shot max.
I think Casey Samuels might have just picked up the ball and Nia Locke just then. That was remarkable.
Wickham floor wiping as well.
Just does it all. I don't know what stat category that comes up in, but why not add it? So a little break in play, but Townsville, those offensive rebounds you spoke about crashing the glass, they're up to 13-0 boards now. That was in single digits at halftime. Cook might have just copped one to the eye here. So ball loose, she goes down. Wickham to Wilson, wanted it back. They're going to play 5-on-4 here. Samuels has an eternity to look at, misses it. Good to see that Zaya Cook is back up, and Townsville just get away with one briefly there. Into a 3-2 or a 2-3 or some sort of zone, but it finds Locke wide open. There was no one in her half of the court. Another O board. Cook, jab step, no. And Wickham says, well, if no one else is going to rebound, I'll do it. And worth noting, Marianatolo on the bench now. They've decided to take her out for the remainder of this third. Sammy Wickham, how did she get that wide open? It's just a layup for her from there.
And I think a great move from the Bendigo Spirit to bring Tolo out and just give her this rest, coupled with the three-quarter time break, and then bring her back in and be able to finish her off for the rest of the game.
The easiest 2 points Alex Fowler might ever have. Both teams chopping and changing their defense. And here is Sammy Wickham. It's about a 13-second differential between game clock, shot clock. Sammy Wickham just paused for a moment. Everyone thought she was going to flare back out. Instead, she cut to the basket, got the delivery and scored two. Townsville now with what will likely be the final possession of the third quarter. 10 seconds on the clock. Abby Ellis in possession of the ball. One way, back the other way, spins. Out to Cook, has made some big baskets. That is a heavy collision. That was a serious colliding of bodies. We can have a look on the replay. That is nasty. That's one you would have heard 10 rows back, I think. My goodness. It'll be a trip to the free throw line for Zaya Cook. That's point number 15 for her with 3 assists and a rebound. So putting together her best performance of the young season so far. And up to 16. 2 seconds going here. Wilson, I think the clock might have beaten her. It certainly did. 3 quarters in the books, and we have a serious game on our hands. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. This one's going down the wire. It's the Bendigo Spirit who leads 64-62.
460, B, under 40, C, over 465.
Oh, I'm going to say it's tomorrow again. Over 60, she said.
Correct.
Oh,
You're the winner.
congratulations.
So you come in the draw after 10 home games to win a $10,000 voucher from baloncesto. You can use to win that. All right, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause to baloncesto.
So, does she have to stay in the draw?
She stays in the draw. Yeah, she stays to win the $10,000 tonight.
Good luck with that tomorrow. In the final home game for a grand final.
Welcome back to the Townsville Entertainment Centre. We've had an absolute barnstormer here, 64-62, the way of the Bendigo Spirit. It's been back and forth, there's no doubt about that. The Spirit won that quarter, but just by a point. It's a 2-point ball game, and Zoe Carr, we were just talking in the break then. This is really one of the first times we've gone, geez, the Spirit miss Kelsey Griffin as that extra big to help guard if Tolo gets into foul trouble.
Yeah, well, look, I always miss Kelsey
We always
Griffin when
miss
she's
Kelsey
not playing.
Griffin.
I love
and
watching
shout out,
her
she's
play.
probably watching as well. Shout out to Kelsey.
But you are seeing that extra big presence inside, even though she's got the ability to play on the perimeter. Her not being there to be able to just sort of sub in at the moment and hold down the fort in the paint a little bit to give Tolo a little bit of rest. But Tolo's doing an outstanding job of making sure she stays clean here and still being effective, because sometimes foul trouble can play with you mentally and limit your ability to sort of impact the game. So she's still having that impact, and that is just a sign of a pro.
She was smart enough there just to get her hands out. I was a little bit worried.
I was like, please don't foul then after I just said that.
It is remarkable to think that they've managed to go 4-0 without Kelsey Griffin as they come up with a steal there, who, as I mentioned at the top, 4 championships, 3 grand final MVPs, a regular season MVP, defensive player of the year, and now also a radio host. I'm not a huge fan when the players start to get into media. They're taking our jobs as well. You're too good at everything, Kelsey Griffin. Big block from Cox. Another rejection from her. Starting to rack them up a little bit now. A 2-time Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in her college career, and she's showing off that defensive prowess right now. Sammy Wickham, you just thought it would go in. Tolo with a really smart tap. Shot clock resets. Callie Wilson all the way around. Might get it back here. Werung goes herself instead. Flips it up and in.
Werung has been massive this game. She's been all over, she's knocking down threes, putting the ball to the floor. But that is such a big-time basket there, because that just allows you to exhale a little bit and give you that little bit of a buffer. You can't obviously go to sleep right now, but it just allows you that little bit of time and space.
Yeah, you're spot on about Abby Werung. 13 points, 4 rebounds in just 16 plus minutes. So putting in a big performance, really handy off the bench. She's going to get another look here, you'd think. Goes hard at Woods. Playing with a little bit of foul trouble. Shot clock winding down. Mariana Tolo. She's going to go herself with the left, and it rims out. So the Spirit again get a little bit of a buffer, but Townsville ready to answer back. Great job from Callie Wilson. Did enough to put Fowler off her game. Here comes Burton. And smart enough just to hold things up. She's a bit nervous going, Sammy Wickham just quietly. All alone on Wickham Island. It's not a place you want to be. It eventually finds its way around to Veronica Burton, who scores 2. Lee jumps out again momentarily. Big ball pressure here on Woods. Maybe lucky not to get called for a foul. Finds Locke wide open in the corner. Has to go for Townsville, and it does. Back to a 4-point game.
just caught overhelping a little bit on that, what became strong side corner. So the drive cross split line. So you're going to try and stay at home and not help off that strong side.
We're going to get a foul there along the baseline. Some substitutions for Townsville. Locke buries a triple and subs straight out. A little bit like in footy when you kick a goal. It's Aussie rules, by the way. Straight to the bench. Here is Werung. It's a tough look. Again, going to the left, pulling up with the right, banking it off the glass. Spirit back out by 6. Into their zone here, Bendigo. Froling met with the double. Great extra pass. The help was late from Wickham. And it's a free throw to come after the basket from Fowler.
Just got to tidy up that weak side whenever there's that post move or somebody getting feet deep into the paint. That secondary rotation's got to get on the inside of the player that's cutting to the basket. So then it can't be just that easy little dump pass.
It's a little friendly roll there, and up to 11 points. So Fowler playing that roll off the bench that Werung has been playing for Bendigo. She's played 15 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds, making some big plays. Wilson on hands and knees, just shovels it out of there. No call there, no defensive foul, no offensive foul. Tolo fighting with Froling. Tolo fighting, Tolo fighting through for the basket. She says, have a little bit of that, thank you very much. And look at the wry smile from Mariana Tolo. What a battle down low.
That was two bigs just going at it in the post. You saw there was multiple hits, but just class from Tolo there to be able to turn the corner, finish high and soft off the glass and draw the foul. And hopefully she can, reward herself here, because there's such big moments, those of being able to mentally get the edge over the player that you've just scored on.
Tell you what, the last thing you want as well when you've been scored in is to get trapped in the opposition's huddle. That's what happened to Alicia Froling. She said, get me out of here, no thank you. Kelly Wilson with some very physical defense. We're starting to let them play. Woods wide open, hasn't had many opportunities, but makes them pay right there. This is a serious ball game. Lead back to 3, 6 minutes to play in the last. Burton's been effective for the most part in this game. Wilson, a little quiet by her lofty standards. They go to this battle again. Tolo, Froling, Tolo. This time it's Froling, who somehow tiptoes the sideline, wasn't happy with the call, tosses the ball away. I think she might have a case there. I thought she got her feet back in before she touched it.
Yeah, hard to see if maybe her heel was on the line or not, but it did look like that she was back in before she touched it.
Let's have a close look here. I think she might have been all right.
But you can just see the physicality's gone to another level. You can tell there's only 5 minutes to go in this fourth here, and both teams are throwing everything they can at it.
Sammy Wickham flying for the loose ball. Tolo pleading the case, saying it wasn't out of bounds on me. You're right, the level of intensity has gone up a notch. I feel sore and tired after this game finishes, and I'm just sitting down watching. Foul. 8-second violation. I apologise. 8-second violation called. That might be the quickest 8 seconds I've ever seen. The ball got tipped out of bounds and the clock has started. I'm not sure what's happened there. The crowd not pleased at all. That was more like 2.5 seconds. Could that be a big moment in this game? They get the takeaway. Woods blocked by Tolo, and it came back off Courtney Woods. Big play from Mariana Tolo, playing with 4 fouls.
You can see the last few calls and the physicality going up. It's bringing the crowd into the game.
74-71. And a turnover. So you mentioned the crowd coming back into the game. Well, they're right into it at the moment. one maybe potentially controversial foul call, and the crowd has come alive. Their team trails by 3. Need to start putting points on the board. Inside 5 minutes to play. Woods, extra one, was a right call to Ellis. Just rimmed out. Froling with the rebound. Whitcomb said, I'll have that. And there's a bit of attitude. Marinatolo's rushed in. Put her hands up now. It's getting a little spicy here at Townsville Entertainment Centre. Marinatolo playing with 4 has to be careful. Wasn't happy with the treatment Froling gave to Whitcomb. Let's have a look at the replay. There was a little bit extra from Froling and Tolo took exception to it.
I know it's not probably politically correct, but I like that. I like as the ex-player in me is coming out.
Like it a little bit,
the ex-player's coming out in me, and I like players that are going to be there for their teammates.
And I like the refs, just a no call.
Yeah.
Just happy, just all right, sorted out. Nothing went over the line. Let's get on with it. Spirit come away with possession here. Burton starting just to feel it. Has a mismatch. As does Tolo. Ends up in the hands of Wickham. One more to Abby Werung. Doesn't go. Big rebound, Courtney Woods. Townsville score on this possession. This crowd's ready to explode. Abby Ellis waits from the pick for Froling. Good hands, Mariana Tolo again. She's coming up big, playing in foul trouble, but delivering in the clutch. Oh, Ellis almost with the takeaway. Just a little bit of feeling in this one, Zoe.
There is. It's like you said. You can feel the crowd's about to explode, but the players understand the importance of this game. These are 2 teams that will be vying for the championship. So any type of win that you can get at any stage of the season is massive mentally. So they know how important this is.
That our first wedgie of the game right there. It's gonna stick with the Spirits. Also worth reminding everybody, Sammy Whitcomb last year played for Townsville. Froling last year played for Bendigo, so there's that element to it as well. Abby Werung, great find from Sammy Whitcomb, and it's a 2-basket game.
And a tough finish over Cox as well. She's been sending shots out left and right all game.
Up to 17 points now, Abby Werung. Cox. Tolo was good enough not to foul. Lead is 5, and there is an offensive foul called. An offensive foul that goes the way of Townsville. Let's have a look at the replay. And it was there. Abby Werung just maybe giving a little bit back to Froling. Gave the officials the chance to make the call, and they did. A little too obvious, perhaps, with the creating of the space. So Townsville get a let off. There is a lot of pushing and shoving going on. Woods, one way, back the other, drop-off ball, Froling. Oh, and that is a nasty shot. No call. It is physical out there. Points will count. 1 extra to come. Alicia Froling's pumped up. I'd like to get a look at that because there was a bit going on before the basket. I'm not sure if actually Samuels got there. I think there might have, she might have tossed the head back a fraction. Either way, basket's good, free throw's good, 2-point ball game, and this one could be about to spill over at the Townsville Entertainment Centre. Wide open 3. It did everything but drop for Veronica Burton, and listen to the crowd. They can tie it or take the lead here, Townsville. Inside the final 3 minutes, into a zone here, Bendigo. Cox with the short corner jumper, no dice. Froling maybe lucky not to give away a foul on the rebound, and the Spirit can just take a second. Been a little while since Sammy Whitcomb's had a good look. You'd think this offensive possession might end up with her. Look at the contact off the ball. Here is Whitcomb. Gets the switch. Tolo jump shot doesn't go. And the Fire just take a breath, Zoe.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's taking a breath at the moment, but it'll come down to which team can hold their nerve, because right now the pressure is starting to build. So who can knock down the shot? Is it now?
It's not quite for Cook. I think she thought that one was down as well.
Because they're finding good shots. So who can knock it down in the clutch, which is this last 2 minutes?
As you say, we are in the final 2 minutes. Spirit with the ball. They lead by 2. Burton, tough look. It somehow didn't go in. The crowd willed it out. How did that one not drop? It looked in for all money. Heavy contact off the ball again. Cook stops, pops, and buries it. We're all tied up at 76 apiece. 90 seconds to play in Townsville. Timeout on the floor. Coach Kennedy Kerryama wants to talk things over. We've already had one overtime game tonight, Zoe. We might be set for another.
I genuinely think there's a really big chance of that, because neither team is able to pull away right now. It's been like, this is the first score we've seen in at least a minute of play. So both teams need to take a breath here. They need to, I think the Spirit of this possession will be looking to try and get something a little more high percentage, so closer to the basket or inside the paint. And the Fire need to just make sure they stay clean and don't try and reinvent the wheel. What they've been doing defensively has been working. So keep forcing the ball out of Whitcomb's hands. Keep forcing the double team to Tolo and play out of that, and then look to run. I definitely think there's a chance for fast break or transition layups here if they want it. But they've got to be able to push the ball in transition.
Yeah, some easy buckets when points have been at a premium. It might be the best way to go. Quickly run you through some of the individual numbers as we head into the final 90 seconds. Cook has 18 and 3 assists for Townsville. Cox is up to a double-double, 13 and 13. And Abby Ellis, 11 points with 5 rebounds, has been brilliant as well. Sammy Whitcomb, no surprise, 27 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. And Ebby Werung, 17 points off the bench, 6 boards, 90 seconds to play, all tied up. This is what the WNBL is all about. Kelly Wilson, does she have a big moment in her? Cook hits the ground. Burton, feet set, 3 on the way, back iron. Tolo tips it to Wilson. They'll get another look. Whitcomb wide open. Sammy show continues. 3 more for Sammy Whitcomb. She shot it from the car park. She shot it from Bendigo, and it's still dropped. The Spirit lead by 3. 1:02 to play. Timeout. Over to you, Townsville.
Wow. And I mean, she's done it all game, so why are we even shocked? But it is just incredible. In such high pressure, to be able to get that catch and shoot and finish is massive. Now, if Townsville right now come out and go empty on this possession, so they don't get a score on this possession, they may need to look to foul a little bit. So just to try, at the moment, they've only got 2 fouls. And if they need to play the foul game, they don't want to be wasting time getting to those 5 fouls. So they might want to get a couple of quick little fouls just to get themselves close enough to the bonus. So they're not, because time, if they go empty on this possession, is definitely not on their side.
It's one of those weird moments when you do actually wish you would probably have 3 or 4 fouls against your team. It doesn't happen very often, but they have possession here. Don't have to get it all back at once either. Obviously, getting an open 3 would be incredible, but you have time to go out, get a 2, get the ball back with a stop and score again. And even if you don't get the stop, if you only allow a 2, then you've just got the option for a 3. So plenty to choose from. Abby Ellis will have the duties of bringing it up. Kelly Wilson has been playing very, very physical defense in this 4th quarter, has been wearing Abby Ellis like a glove. Let's see how it all plays out. 1:02 to play. Spirit 79, Townsville 76, but the Fire with the ball, the crowd ready to explode. Cox with possession, looking for Woods. Turns the corner, drops to Cox, feet set, does everything but drop, and it was Whitcomb who swung through. Don't have to foul, but as Zoe Carr mentioned, they only have 2 team fouls, so a basket here, they find themselves in an awkward position. Tolo could stop and pop for a 3, goes to the basket and gets the friendly roll. Mariana Tolo might have just said goodnight to the Townsville Fire. A shot right through the heart. The silence is deafening in Townsville Entertainment Centre. Mariana Tolo puts them up by 5. Make that 6, 24 seconds to play. What a clutch basket. It was Whitcomb first, and then it was Tolo.
But what I love, and I've always loved this about Tolo for her entire career, is that you would probably look at that and say, oh, your 5's not going to put the ball to the floor and get on the rim. She's like, no, I'm going. That's what's available. I'm taking that. And then the ability to finish with the hit and go to the foul line. Like, again, we've known what sort of class Mariana Tolo is for years, but she is showing us right now that she's able to not only take over games, but take over games when she's in foul trouble. So that's scary for the rest of the league.
It certainly is, and you mentioned the foul trouble. She's been playing the second half, and she's been playing really 19 and a half minutes of the second half with 4 fouls, and has somehow managed to just go into a fierce battle with Alicia Froling underneath the basket. And at the moment, she's earned the points, 12 and 3 rebounds in just 24 minutes. As we said, limited opportunity due to foul trouble. Now Townsville, they need a quick look, and then it's the foul game. But as you said, they've only committed 3, so they have to get one, give one, and then give another one to stop the clock and send them to the line.
Yeah, exactly. So, and for Bendigo right now, watch out for Courtney Woods, especially given she's on the inbound pass here. The inbounder is often one that gets open on sideline out of bounds.
Big high weak toss, finds its way to Cook. Left it short.
Oh.
Big rebound, Samuels. Foul goes on Woods, and that might just be it. Bendigo come up with the stop. It was a good set from Townsville. They got the look that they wanted, just didn't go down.
It was, and they're, sometimes they're the almost moral victories that you take out of things, because to be able to execute that and get the shot you wanted, would you get that shot again and score it? I think so. It's knowing you can get that shot is also just as valuable.
Yeah, Cook had buried 3 triples. Has buried 3 triples so far tonight and put it in the right person's hand. Just couldn't get that one to drop, and now it will start to turn into a little bit of a free throw contest. But the Spirit, what a game we've been treated to, back and forth. And Bendigo, they just held on to this game, held them at arm's distance, couldn't get rid of them. And that's a credit to Townsville, that they were good enough to keep coming up with the answers.
Definitely. And, a Mansfield less Townsville as well. So, it's when a player they've been playing with all season so far steps out of the lineup, it can take some time to adjust to that. They've done an outstanding job of filling her shoes.
Sammy Wickham just rocking out to a bit of Akadaka as well. What can't she do? So, as you mentioned, no Lauren Mansfield for Townsville tonight, no Kelsey Griffin for Bendigo, and that's got to scare the rest of the league just a little bit, doesn't it? Because both teams have played pretty well in what has been one of the games of the season so far. Wilson kicks to Burton. No foul just yet. They want to double in the backcourt to try and get the turnover. Now it gets into the front court. The foul does come. So smart play. Don't foul in the backcourt when you can try and force a turnover. Doesn't come. Courtney Woods picks up the foul. That's her night over. A bit of a tough one with foul trouble. Just the 22 minutes. But in a game like this, probably be playing 30 plus, wouldn't she?
Yeah, definitely. And I think they were trying to not foul Wilson or Burton there, because they are such good free throw shooters. So great job that as soon as it got out of either of their hands, they got the foul. But Samuels stepping to the line and knocking down the first.
There's a few good free throw shooters out there as well. Mariana Tolo came into this game shooting 22 of 24 from the free throw line. She's 6 of 7. So shooting the lights out from the charity stripe. No good there from Townsville. And that will be all she wrote. The Spirit walk into Townsville and walk out with a victory. 84-76. They were clutched down the stretch. They maintained their unbeaten run. They are the only undefeated team left in the league at the moment. 5-0, Townsville to 2-1. And I tell you what, watch out if you're the rest of the competition, because Bendigo played 4 out of the next 5 games at home. We could be seeing what is a record-breaking season the way they're tracking at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, came up big when they needed to. I think they'll be doing some work on making sure they don't have those little dips within their quarters. But credit to Townsville as well. They just did not go away. They've obviously, as we mentioned before, got Mansfield to come back into the group. But I think they will be one to watch for the season. I know there's a lot of talk about Bendigo, and rightly so. But I think keep your eyes on Townsville, because they will just get better and better as the year goes on.
We just treated maybe an early season grand final matchup. Lots of basketball to play before then, but certainly 2 teams to keep your eye out on. You're certainly right, Zoe Carl. We have a look at the celebrations. How good is that? Things you love to see. Look at the celebrations there for Bendigo. Great scenes on the road, and this is the type of the wins that really bring a team together. As we get to take a look at some of the highlights, no surprise Sammy Wickham's going to feature in a lot of them, but there were plenty of contributors. Abby Waring, for instance, off the bench, has missed the past couple of games, comes in, 17 points, 6 rebounds. That was a really big impact, wasn't it?
Yeah, and as we mentioned at one point during the broadcast, timely as well. You know, when they needed something, or if things were just drying up a little bit, she came in and was able to just keep that scoreboard ticking over while Bendigo found their feet again offensively.
One thing we're going to see a lot of throughout these highlights, there's going to be some sore bodies tomorrow, because it was physical. I'm a little sore watching. It got brutal down the stretch there.
It did, but I loved it. I love watching physical basketball, because what we also then saw was the skill set rise to the top. So from both teams, we saw big shots, big passes, great defensive plays, because we were able to, because the physicality was there. So I really enjoyed how both teams approach this game.
Townsville put up the 76 points. However, I think we're going to see probably a lot from them. They did it by committee. So Cook 18, Woods 7, Froling 9, Cox 13, Alice 11, off the bench Fowler 11. You're going to see a lot of that throughout the season from Townsville.
Yeah, and holding Bendigo to 84. I know 84 probably sounds like a lot, but from what they've been scoring in some of their games, that is a big deal. So to be able to do that and put 76 on the board, and like I said, they will continue to get better. You know, it wasn't one of Wood's best games from an offensive perspective. I think the foul trouble maybe played into that. She will be better next time that they play. So who knows what can happen when these two teams meet again.
And you're spot on about the defensive effort. Bendigo came into this game averaging 92 per game. However, what they do maintain is that no team has scored 80 or more against the Spirit. So maybe one thing we're failing to mention a bit is their defense. We talk a lot about the offense. We talk about how great Sammy Wickham is, and Polo and Warren and all these great assets. Kelsey Griffin to come back, but the defense has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the reason it probably got out of hand a little bit was the force having to have Tolo forced to the bench for so long. Because of the impact she has inside, but also don't discredit the impact that scoring has on the other team's scoring ability as well. You know, the power of the Spirit and the way that they're able to score the ball, it does play a part on the opposition's ability to score too, because things tighten up a little bit.
And forcing them to play in the half court. Now, of course, our player spotlight, our player of the game, who else but Sammy Wickham, having one of probably the great starts to a season that we have seen in this league. An unbelievable performance again from Sammy Wickham. 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 60% from the field, 57% from deep. She's superhuman.
She is. And, you know, I mentioned at halftime that, you know, generally the trend is that shooting percentages go down in the second half, which she's proven me wrong. So thanks,
personally.
Thanks, Wickham. Just an incredible effort. And again, when they needed scores in big moments, she stepped up and got them. You know, then both teams in that last 2 minutes where it was just going back and forward with no score. She was the one that got it done, and she's just an ultimate pro.
She's going to head into round 5 averaging over 26 points, 7 rebounds and 5 assists per game, which is just ridiculous, and over 2 steals per game, and she's going to be shooting over 50% from deep on bulk attempts. It's not like somebody who maybe takes 3 or 4 and they make 2 of them. She's shooting plenty of threes, but they're going down at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah, and it's not unusual. You know, that's who she is. That's how she plays. So teams are, they already she will be a massive focal point, but teams need to find a way to stop Sammy Wickham.
They certainly do, but good luck. Whoever is trying to scheme up a way to stop
better you
Sammy
than us,
Wickham,
right?
100%. As I said, my tactic would be asking for a sub, please. So we're still 1 game to go here in round 3. It's the reigning champs tomorrow on 9 Now and 9 Go. The Southside Flyers, they are hosting the UC Caps. Of course, the Caps still looking for their first victory. They're one of 2 teams still looking for a win. Of course, we saw Adelaide go down in overtime. They slipped to 0-3 tonight against Geelong United. So the Caps on the road against the Flyers, but the Caps put up a great show against the Lynx on Thursday night, so another really intriguing clash. Bit of Bet Cole against Jay Melbourne, probably the 2 best personalities in the league going head-to-head as well. Nevertheless, they're basketball talents. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and 2 sort of different types of game styles. The young Caps sort of trying to find their way, and a more experienced Southside Flyers. It'll be really intriguing to see how both teams go, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
And make sure you tune into that one tomorrow. That'll round out round 3, and then we've got a bumper round 4. We've got a bumper season ahead of you. How good is it? And shout out to the Townsville fans. They turned up in a big way. They were loud. One of the best crowds in the business. So that will do us from the Townsville Entertainment Centre. That'll do us for your Super Saturday doubleheader here in the WNBL. It was Geelong in overtime in the first game, but in this one, the visitors, the Bendigo Spirit, they walk away winners 84-76. On behalf of myself, Zoe Carr, the fantastic production crew, we hope you have a good night. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Southside Flyers up against the UC Caps.